Congratulations. If this message reaches you before January 6, 2026, I want you to stop everything for just a moment and hear me carefully, because God Himself has orchestrated this moment for you. Yes, I am speaking directly to you. Right now, in this very hour, in this very second, God is not silent. He is not distant. He is not merely watching from afar. No. God is actively moving, preparing, and orchestrating everything in your life for a purpose so magnificent, so overwhelming, that if you dare to receive it, your life will never be the same again. Open your heart, open your mind, and open your spirit, because the word that is coming to you is not ordinary. It is divine, it is life-transforming, and it is unstoppable. The very fact that you have reached this message is not by chance. It is a sign from God Himself, a declaration from heaven that He's about to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or imagine. Are you ready to hear it? Are you ready to receive it? Then lean in, for your time has come. I want you to understand something right now. God is not a God of half measures. He is not a God who gives timidly or hesitates in blessing. When He moves in your life, when He opens the heavens for you, it is total, it is complete, and it is life-altering. But here is the secret that many people have never grasped. God's blessings are activated by faith, by obedience, and by expectation. Faith is not passive. Faith is not a quiet hope. Faith is a force, a divine engine that moves the hand of God. And when your faith aligns with His will, there is no limit to what can happen. That is why, if this message has reached you today, God is not merely inviting you, He is commanding your faith to rise, to awaken, and to move. You are being called to step into a new season, a season that will stretch you, challenge you, and lift you higher than ever before. Let me tell you something powerful. There's a time for everything under heaven, and God's timing is perfect. Some of you have waited, some of you have struggled, and some of you have wondered if your prayers were heard. But listen closely. God is never late. He is never inattentive. He sees the smallest details of your life, and He orchestrates everything according to a perfect plan. The very fact that this message reaches you before January 6, 2026 is not coincidence. It is a divine appointment. It is a signal that God is about to release into your life a wave of breakthrough, a season of favor, and an outpouring of provision that will leave everyone around you in awe. Your breakthrough is not coming next month, not next year. It is here, it is now, and is unstoppable. I want you to understand the power of expectation. Too many people approach life as if blessings are optional, as if favor is a random gift. But God's word tells us that the heavens are open over those who dare to believe, who dare to speak, and who dare to live as though God is their source, their strength, and their victory. When you wake up each morning expecting God to move, when you start your day declaring that no weapon formed against you will prosper, when you begin to speak life, health, and abundance over yourself and your family, then watch. Watch how God begins to shift circumstances, turn situations, and orchestrate encounters that are beyond human comprehension. The faith-filled person does not wait for miracles. He walks in them daily because he knows that God is not limited by time, by space, or by human understanding. I need you to hear this and take it deep into your spirit. Every obstacle you have faced, every delay you have endured, and every challenge that has tried to stop you is being used by God to catapult you into a higher level of victory. Nothing is wasted in God's economy. Every tear, every disappointment, every moment of struggle is a seed. And God is a master gardener. He plants seeds in your life with a purpose. Sometimes it is pain that cultivates patience. Sometimes it is loss that cultivates wisdom. And sometimes it is hardship that cultivates faith. But when you trust God completely, when you refuse to doubt, when you refuse to let fear control your actions, these seeds will blossom into a harvest so abundant that your neighbors, your colleagues, and even strangers will marvel at what God has done. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of ordinary results? Are you ready for God to do the extraordinary in your life? Because here is the truth. Ordinary faith produces ordinary results. Ordinary prayer produces ordinary outcomes. But when you step into a life of bold, unshakable faith, when you align your heart fully with God's promises, when you refuse to compromise, when you refuse to settle, God will not respond with ordinary blessings. He will respond with divine acceleration, supernatural provision, and unstoppable favor. Those who live by faith are not average. They are divine conduits of God's power, and the world around them cannot contain the miracles that flow from their lives. Some of you have been waiting for a sign, for a breakthrough, for a confirmation that God has not forgotten you. This is your sign. This is your moment. If this message reaches you before January 6, 2026, it is God Himself saying, I have not forgotten you. I have not abandoned you. I am preparing a way for you that no one else can see. Do not ignore this. Do not let it slip past your heart. Respond with faith. Respond with expectation. Respond with action. God is not passive. He is moving mountains, opening doors, and providing for your needs before you even ask. I want you to understand something crucial. Your words have power. Your thoughts have power. And your declarations carry divine weight. When you begin to speak with authority, declaring God's promises over your life, you are partnering with Him to bring heaven to earth. Speak life over your health. Speak provision over your finances. Speak favor over your family. Speak breakthroughs over your career, over your dreams, over your purpose. Every word that proceeds from your mouth aligned with God is a seed. And when sown with faith, it cannot return void. It will produce fruit, multiply, and explode with abundance. You might be thinking, but I have failed before. I have stumbled. I have doubted. Listen to me carefully. God does not see your failures the way you see them. Your mistakes do not define you. Your past does not dictate your future. In fact, God can take your failures, your losses, and your setbacks and turn them into the very launching pad for your greatest victories. Do not let regret steal your faith. Do not let disappointment silence your hope. Stand firm, rise up, and declare that the God who called you is faithful to fulfill every promise He has placed in your life. Every day you have a choice. You can choose fear or faith. You can choose despair or hope. You can choose to remain in the ordinary or step into the extraordinary. God has placed within you seeds of greatness, and the soil of your heart must be prepared with prayer, expectation, and unwavering trust. Those who choose faith will move forward. Those who choose fear will remain stagnant. Your season of stagnation ends now. Your season of breakthrough begins today. God has already gone ahead of you, preparing the perfect opportunities, arranging divine connections, and releasing supernatural favor that cannot be explained by human reasoning. Now, I want you to see this. God is not bound by your circumstances. He is not limited by your past. He is not hindered by what others say or do. God is the Almighty, the ever-present, the source of all wisdom, power, and provision. When you align your life with Him, mountains move, doors open, enemies scatter, and blessings overflow. Nothing can resist the hand of God on a life that is fully surrendered to Him. Your job is not to figure out every detail. Your job is to obey, to believe, and to move with courage. When you do, God does the impossible, the miraculous, and the extraordinary. I want you to hear this clearly. God does not operate in small measures. His power is unlimited, His wisdom is infinite, and His favor is uncontainable. Yet so many people live beneath their calling because they do not recognize the authority that God has already placed within them. They wait, they hesitate, they question, and in doing so, they miss the fullness of God's blessing. But not you. No, not you. The very fact that this message has found you at this hour is a divine summons to step boldly into a life of authority, victory, and supernatural provision. God is calling you to rise, to advance, and to take possession of all that He has already ordained for you. This is your divine appointment, and it will not wait. Consider this truth Everything that exists was created by God through His Word. Mountains, rivers, stars, the wind, the oceans, they all respond to His command. And if the universe bows to His voice, do you think that your circumstances, your obstacles, or your limitations can resist Him? No. Every challenge you have faced, every barrier that has stood in your way is no match for He God who created all things by a single word. And today, He is speaking over your life a new word, a word of breakthrough, a word of favor, a word of divine acceleration that will overturn impossibilities and multiply your blessings beyond your imagination. I want you to understand the principle of expectation. Expectation is not wishful thinking. Expectation is active faith. It is a declaration to the unseen that God's power is real, that His promises are certain, and that His plans for your life cannot fail. When you begin to expect the miraculous, when you begin to move with confidence in the unseen, you align yourself with the very heart of God, and heaven itself begins to move on your behalf. This is not theory. This is the law of the Spirit. Those who walk with God in expectation will witness doors open that no human can open, resources flow that no human can create, and opportunities arrive that no human could have imagined. Your breakthrough is not in the distance. It is imminent. It is here. It is yours. I hear the whispers of doubt in your mind, the questions that try to chain your faith. Can God really do this for me? Have I waited too long? Am I too weak, too unprepared, too ordinary? Listen to me and listen well. God specializes in taking the ordinary and turning it into the extraordinary. He delights in using what is small, humble, or overlooked to reveal His glory. Do not measure yourself by your past, your failures, or your limitations. Measure yourself by the God who created you, who knows your heart, and who has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your destiny. Your inadequacy is not a barrier. It is the very canvas on which God will display His power. There is another truth that I want you to grasp. God moves in response to persistence, to endurance, and to unwavering faith. Many give up just before the miracle arrives. Many falter just before the blessing is released. But you, the one receiving this message, are being called to rise above hesitation, to reject fear, and to push forward with relentless determination. Keep praying, keep declaring, keep walking in obedience, and do not allow a single setback to make you retreat. God honors the one who refuses to give up, who refuses to compromise, and who refuses to settle for anything less than His perfect plan. Every moment of endurance, every act of faith is an investment in a harvest that is already written in heaven. Listen closely to the power of your words. God's creation began with speech. Every command, every decree, every word from God brought life, form, and substance into existence. And He has given you a voice, a spirit, and authority to partner with Him in speaking life over your own destiny. Speak boldly over your finances, over your health, over your family, over your dreams. Speak with confidence, knowing that when your words align with God's promises, the universe itself conspires in your favor. Do not underestimate the spiritual authority that you carry. What you declare in faith becomes the foundation upon which God builds your reality. Some of you are waiting for provision, for doors to open, for miracles to manifest. I tell you now, do not wait for the world to respond. Wait for God to move. The heavens are already open, the resources are already prepared, and the angels are already dispatched to arrange your breakthrough. God is not limited by human logic, by the scarcity you see, or by the problems that appear insurmountable. His ways are higher than your ways. His plans are far beyond your understanding, and His provision is abundant beyond measure. All that remains is for you to step into faith, to align with His timing, and to receive. I want to speak directly to those who feel unworthy, who feel unseen, who feel overlooked. Hear this, God's favor does not depend on your perfection, your talent, or your status. His favor flows to the humble, the faithful, and the obedient. It flows to those who cry out in sincerity, who seek Him with all their heart, and who refuse to be distracted by the voices of doubt, criticism, or fear. Your worth is not determined by human standards. It is determined by God Himself. And when you embrace this truth, you will walk in confidence, in authority, and in victory, knowing that God is your source, your shield, and your deliverer. Every season in your life is purposeful. Every challenge is intentional. Every delay has a reason. God is the master architect, and He is arranging every detail of your life to prepare you for a greater manifestation of His glory. Do not despise the waiting period. Do not resent the difficulty, and do not despise the lessons embedded in every struggle. God is not wasting a single moment. He is using every circumstance to shape your character, strengthen your faith, and position you for a breakthrough so extraordinary that it will serve as a testimony for generations. Now, understand this principle. God honors boldness. He responds to courage. He blesses the one who takes risks in faith, the one who moves even when fear is present, the one who steps into the unknown because he trusts the one who holds the future. Those who wait for comfort, those who wait for certainty, those who wait for the perfect conditions will remain in mediocrity. But those who dare to act, those who dare to believe, and those who dare to trust in God's infinite wisdom will experience an acceleration of blessings, favor, and divine breakthroughs. There is a power in vision. God gives vision to those who seek Him, to those who pray, to those who hunger for His guidance. A vision is not a dream. It is a divine blueprint, a map of what God intends to accomplish in your life. When you see it, when you declare it, when you act on it with faith, the universe aligns itself with God's plan. Obstacles dissolve, opportunities multiply, and miracles manifest. Your vision is sacred. Protect it, nourish it, speak life into it daily. Do not allow doubt, fear, or the negativity of others to corrupt it. This is your God-given destiny, and He will bring it to pass. I want to remind you of the principle of divine multiplication. God is a God of multiplication. He multiplies seeds, He multiplies talents, He multiplies resources, and He multiplies blessings. When you give, when you sow, when you act in faith, God multiplies it beyond what you can conceive. There is no limit to His generosity. There is no ceiling to His provision. There is no end to His ability to turn scarcity into abundance, weakness into strength, and loss into victory. Trust Him, give faithfully, and watch how He transforms every small act of obedience into a tidal wave of blessings that will impact your life, your family, and your community. The time for waiting is over. The time for hesitation is over. God has called you, chosen you, and equipped you for a season of unprecedented prayer. Key through. Do not allow fear, doubt, or past failures to steal this moment. Rise up in faith. Speak with boldness. Step forward with courage. Expect God to move in ways you have never imagined. Align your heart with His promises. Act with unwavering trust. And watch how the impossible becomes possible, how obstacles vanish, how opportunities appear, and how your life becomes a living testimony of God's limitless power and faithfulness. There is a moment right now, in this very hour, that will define the trajectory of your life. God has brought you to this moment for a purpose that is greater than you can imagine. Every second that has passed, every challenge you have endured, every prayer you have whispered in the quiet of your heart has been leading to this very point. Do not underestimate the power of this hour. Do not dismiss it as ordinary. God has positioned you to step into His favor, to rise above limitations, and to walk boldly into a season of extraordinary manifestation. This is your divine appointment, and it is not by chance. It is by design. I want to speak to those who have been weighed down by fear, by doubt, and by the opinions of others. Listen carefully. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. It does not matter how limited you feel, how unprepared you think you are, or how many obstacles you see before you. God is able. He is sufficient. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you acknowledge your limitations and surrender fully to His will, you release a power that is unstoppable, a wisdom that is infinite, and a favor that cannot be contained. Your weakness is not your defeat. It is the platform from which God will display His greatness in your life. Consider this truth. God works in alignment with expectation, obedience, and persistence. Those who wait passively for blessing are often disappointed. Those who act without faith often fail. But those who combine bold action with unwavering faith, who align every decision with God's guidance, and who persist regardless of the storms, those are the ones who experience the miraculous. When you step forward in faith, when you speak life over your circumstances, when you refuse to retreat in fear, you are participating with God in the fulfillment of His divine plan. Your life becomes a living testament to His power, a beacon of hope for others, and a declaration that God's promises are unshakable. I want you to see this clearly. There is a principle of divine acceleration at work in your life. God is not only able to bless you, He is able to accelerate your blessings, to multiply your opportunities, and to position you ahead of time in ways that defy human understanding. Every prayer, every act of faith, every declaration of hope becomes a seed in the spiritual realm. And God, in His infinite wisdom and power, multiplies these seeds, causing them to bear fruit abundantly. You may feel that time has been slow, that progress has been delayed, but God is never late. He moves according to perfect timing, and when He releases, it is sudden, powerful, and life-transforming. There are those of you who have been in seasons of waiting, questioning, and longing. I declare to you today, your waiting is not wasted. Every moment of patience, every act of faith, every tear shed in sincerity is being stored in heaven, being transformed into strength, wisdom, and breakthrough. God is a master architect, arranging every detail of your life with precision. He turns struggles into preparation, obstacles into opportunities, and delays into divine acceleration. Your patience, your trust, and your persistence are the very ingredients that God uses to produce miracles that no one else can replicate. I need you to hear this. God delights in the impossible. When all human reasoning fails, when every door seems closed, when every circumstance points to impossibility, that is when God moves most powerfully. He takes what is weak and makes it strong. He takes what is limited and makes it abundant. He takes what is broken and makes it whole. Do not be discouraged by your current situation. Do not be disheartened by the mountains in front of you. God is not limited by your understanding, your resources, or your environment. He is the Almighty, and His power knows no boundaries. There is also a principle of divine alignment that I want you to understand. Everything in your life, every opportunity, every encounter, every blessing is most effective when aligned with God's purpose. Alignment is not convenience, it is obedience. Alignment is not merely desire, it is surrender. When your actions, your thoughts, and your words are fully aligned with God's will, you create a spiritual resonance that attracts favor, multiplies provision, and causes doors to open that no human can open. Alignment produces not just blessings, it produces miracles, breakthroughs, and legacies that last for generations. Do not underestimate the power of praise, of gratitude, and of a heart fully surrendered to God. Those who maintain a spirit of thanksgiving, even in the midst of challenges, invite God's presence into their circumstances. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a declaration. It is a proclamation to heaven that you trust God, that you acknowledge His sovereignty, and that you are ready to receive what He has prepared. When you cultivate this attitude daily, you position yourself to experience favor, protection, and abundance that exceeds human expectation. Consider this: your words carry life or death, blessing or curse, victory or defeat. God created speech as a mechanism for authority, as a tool to partner with Him in creation. What you speak over your life, over your family, over your work, over your dreams has immense power. When you speak in faith, declaring God's promises with authority, you are activating the very forces of heaven to bring His will to earth. Speak boldly, speak life, speak victory, speak blessings that cannot be ignored. Your words are seeds. Sow them with faith and watch as God multiplies them beyond imagination. Some of you are carrying burdens that feel too heavy, challenges that feel too complex, and pressures that feel unending. I want you to hear this. God specializes in the impossible. The weight you carry, the problem you face, the situation you fear, God can transform it, overturn it, and use it for your advancement. No burden is too great, no mountain is too high, and no opposition is too strong when God is with you. He is the source of your strength, the architect of your future, and the provider of every need. Trust Him, rely on Him, and move forward with confidence. I want to remind you of another truth. There is divine protection over those who walk in faith. Your path, your family, your work, your dreams, all are under the care of God. He dispatches unseen forces to guard, guide, and deliver. No circumstance, no person, no attack can prevail against the hand of God. When you walk in obedience and trust, you walk in divine protection. When you remain faithful, even in the face of adversity, you are shielded by the power of God, and nothing can derail what He has ordained for your life. There is also a principle of divine provision. God is the source of all abundance, and He delights in providing for those who trust Him. Scarcity is not from God. It is a result of limited faith, limited vision, and limited expectation. But when you place your trust fully in God, when you act in obedience, and when you align your decisions with His guidance, provision flows. It flows in ways that surpass human understanding. It flows through unexpected doors, through divine connections, and through resources you never imagined. God is the provider, and He is ready to meet every need. I need you to see the urgency of this moment. If this message reaches you before January 6, 2026, it is a divine signal. It is God calling you to wake up to your destiny, to rise to your purpose, and to claim the life He has already prepared. This is not a time for hesitation. This is not a time for doubt. This is a time to move boldly, to speak with authority, to act in faith, and to expect God to move in ways that will astonish everyone around you. This is your appointed season of breakthrough, and it begins now. I want you to understand something fundamental. God is not limited by your circumstances, your past, or even the expectations of the world around you. He is infinite, He is sovereign, and He moves according to a plan that cannot be thwarted. Every setback you have endured, every closed door, every obstacle that seemed impossible is part of a divine strategy to position you for a greater victory. Nothing in your life is wasted in God's hands. Every difficulty, every trial, every moment of waiting has been designed to cultivate within you a strength, a resilience, and a faith that can move mountains. You may not see it now, but the tapestry of your life is being woven by God Himself, with every thread placed with perfect precision. Let me speak boldly to those who feel forgotten, who feel invisible, or who feel that their prayers go unheard. Hear me. God sees you. He knows every struggle, every longing, every unspoken cry of your heart. He is not distant. He is not passive. He is intimately involved in your life, orchestrating circumstances, arranging divine appointments, and preparing doors that no human hand can open. The fact that this message has reach before January 6th, 2026, is a divine declaration, a confirmation that your season of breakthrough is at hand. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. God is moving on your behalf in ways that will astonish you and everyone around you. I want you to embrace a principle that is often overlooked. God operates through patience and precision. Many give up because the answer does not arrive quickly. Many falter because the blessing is delayed. But God's timing is perfect. The seed you planted, the prayer you prayed, the act of faith you performed in obscurity is being multiplied in heaven, ready to manifest at the appointed time. Do not despise the waiting period, for it is during these moments that God shapes your character, strengthens your spirit, and prepares you for the fullness of His promises. The very delays that frustrate you are the laboratories in which God produces the faith, endurance, and wisdom required for your harvest. Listen to me carefully. The power of vision is unparalleled in God's economy. God gives vision to those who seek Him with all their hearts. A vision is not a fleeting dream. It is a divine blueprint, a map of your destiny, and a reflection of God's purpose for your life. When you act in faith upon that vision, when you declare it boldly, and when you align every decision with its fulfillment, God moves the forces of heaven to bring it to pass. Your vision is sacred. Protect it from doubt. Nurture it with prayer and declare it with confidence. The moment you align your faith with your vision, the invisible becomes visible. And what once seemed impossible begins to take shape in your life. There is a truth that many fail to grasp. God's power is activated through obedience. Faith without action is incomplete. Trust without movement is incomplete. God honors those who step forward, those who act courageously, and those who align T. Air daily decisions with His guidance. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for circumstances to be convenient. Move now, act now, speak now. When you combine faith with action, the hand of God moves in your favor. Situations shift and opportunities multiply. The universe itself aligns with the obedience of a heart fully surrendered to God. I need you to hear this with clarity. Your words are not ordinary. They are instruments of creation. God spoke the universe into existence. He brought order from chaos with a single word. And He has given you a voice to partner with Him, to speak life, to speak blessing, and to speak victory into your own life and the lives of others. Speak boldly. Speak with authority. Declare God's promises over your finances, your health, your family, your dreams, and your purpose. Every word spoken in faith becomes a seed, and God multiplies those seeds into abundant harvest. Your speech is a weapon, a tool, and a channel for divine intervention. Use it wisely. Use it boldly. Use it consistently. Consider the power of gratitude and praise. Those who cultivate hearts of thankfulness, even in the midst of trials, invite God's presence into every situation. Gratitude is not merely a reaction. It is a declaration of trust, an acknowledgement that God is in control, and a recognition of His sovereignty. When you give thanks in advance, when you praise Him before the manifestation appears, you create an atmosphere in which God's power can move unhindered. Blessings multiply, favor flows, protection surrounds you. Obstacles dissolve. The unseen realms align with your faith. The very act of thanksgiving becomes a magnet for God's provision. There is another dimension I want you to understand. God moves through consistency. Those who persist, those who continue in prayer, those who maintain faith regardless of the storm are the ones who see miracles manifest. Many are tempted to quit, to compromise, or to settle for less, but God is not a God of compromise. He is a God of perfection, precision, and purpose. When you remain steadfast, when you continue in faith, when you refuse to be distracted by the noise of the world, you position yourself for supernatural acceleration, divine multiplication, and extraordinary breakthrough. Your persistence is a key that unlocks doors no human hand can open. I want to declare this boldly. There is divine protection over your life. Every step you take, every move you make, every decision aligned with God's will is covered by His power. You are shielded from attacks, defended against opposition, and guarded against unseen forces. God is your protector, your refuge, and your shield. No weapon formed against you can prosper. No plan of the enemy can succeed. You are under the direct care of the Almighty, and His favor surrounds you like a fortress. Walk boldly, speak confidently, and live fearlessly, knowing that God is watching over you and guiding every step you take. Now hear this. Provision is not an afterthought, it is God's nature. God is the ultimate provider. Scarcity does not define Him. Limitation cannot restrict Him. When you place your trust fully in Him, act in faith, and align your steps with His will, provision flows abundantly. It comes through unexpected doors, through divine encounters, and through resources beyond imagination. You are not meant to struggle endlessly. You are not meant to labor without reward. God is ready to supply, to multiply, and to release into your life all that you need to fulfill your purpose and manifest His glory. I need you to understand the urgency of this moment. If this message reaches you before January 6, 2026, it is a divine sign that your season of breakthrough is imminent. God is calling you to step into your purpose with boldness, to act with unwavering faith, and to expect the impossible. This is a moment of destiny. This is a moment of acceleration. This is a moment where ordinary faith produces extraordinary results. The blessings, the breakthroughs, the favor, and the miracles that God has prepared for you are ready to manifest. And all that remains is for you to align your heart, speak in faith, and step forward with courage. I want you to grasp this truth with the fullness of your heart. God's power is not dependent on circumstances, and His plans are never thwarted by human limitation. The obstacles that loom large before you, the challenges that feel overwhelming, the situations that seem impossible, these are not barriers. They are opportunities for God to demonstrate His greatness. He delights in turning the weak into strong, the impossible into possible, the overlooked into exalted. When you align your faith with His promises, you invite His limitless power to operate without restriction in your life. What you see with your natural eyes is temporary, but what God is doing is eternal, transformative, and unstoppable. Some of you have been praying for clarity, for direction, for breakthrough, and yet you feel stuck. Hear this: God is already at work behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, arranging divine connections, and opening doors that no human effort could ever open. The invisible is being prepared for the visible. The answers you seek, the opportunities you desire, the blessings you have longed for, they are on their way. You may not see them yet, but God's timing is perfect. Trust the unseen, believe the invisible, walk in obedience, and you will witness a manifestation so powerful that it will leave you in awe. Let me speak to those who feel defeated, discouraged, or disheartened. Do not measure yourself by past failures or current setbacks. God's species realizes in transformation. He does not see your history the way you do. He sees your potential. He sees your faith. He sees the future He has already planned for you. Every mistake, every failure, every disappointment is being redeemed for your advancement. Your past is not your prison. It is the soil from which God will cultivate your destiny. Rise from the ashes of yesterday with renewed faith, for God's favor is upon you, and His power will propel you into a new season of glory. Consider the principle of spiritual authority. God has placed within you the authority to speak life, to declare victory, and to activate His promises. When you speak with faith, aligned with His will, the forces of heaven move to bring those declarations into manifestation. Do not underestimate the power of your voice. Speak boldly over your life. Speak boldly over your home. Speak boldly over your finances, your career, your health, and your relationships. Your words are not idle. They are instruments of creation. When spoken in faith, they carry divine weight, opening doors, breaking chains, and releasing favor that cannot be stopped. There is another truth that is essential for you to embrace. God works through perseverance. Many people give up just before the breakthrough arrives. Many quit in the final moments of waiting, unaware that the blessing they seek is already on its way. But those who persevere, those who continue in prayer, those who maintain unwavering faith in the midst of adversity, are the ones who experience God's full power. Your endurance is the key. Your patience is the weapon. Your faithfulness is the lever that moves the hand of God in your favor. Stay the course. Do not turn back. Your victory is closer than you think. I want you to understand the principle of divine multiplication. God is a God of increase. He multiplies seeds, multiplies efforts, multiplies faith. A. And He multiplies blessings. When you sow in obedience, when you give in faith, when you act in alignment with His guidance, God multiplies it beyond your comprehension. There is no limit to what God can do with a faithful heart. He can turn a small seed of effort into an abundant harvest. He can take a single act of obedience and expand it to impact generations. He can take your faith and transform it into a force that alters your destiny. Trust Him and expect multiplication. I need you to hear this boldly. God honors boldness. He responds to courage. He blesses the one who moves even when fear whispers, who acts even when the path seems uncertain, and who trusts Him beyond human understanding. Hesitation yields nothing. Doubt blocks favor, but bold action, rooted in unwavering faith, unlocks doors that no human can open. Do not wait for comfort. Do not wait for ease. Step forward now. Declare your faith. Move in obedience. God is with you, and He will cause your boldness to bear fruit in ways that exceed all expectation. There is a spiritual principle that cannot be ignored. God's favor flows abundantly over the prepared heart. Preparation requires discipline, study, prayer, and obedience. Those who take time to cultivate their hearts, refine their character, and align their steps with God's guidance position themselves to receive blessings that are disproportionate to their effort. Favor is not random. It is earned through faithfulness, integrity, and expectation. Align yourself fully with God. Purify your heart. Focus your mind. Strengthen your spirit. And watch how His favor flows like a river, unstoppable, overflowing, and life-changing. Now, I want you to understand the power of expectation. Expectation is not wishful thinking. Expectation is a declaration of faith. It is an acknowledgement that God is active, that His promises are true, and that His power is sufficient to accomplish all He has spoken over your life. When you live with expectation, when you rise each day declaring that God is at work, you create a spiritual momentum that cannot be stopped. Opportunities appear, obstacles dissolve, resources flow, favor multiplies. Expectation is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between promise and fulfillment, between faith and manifestation. Consider this truth. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for God to demonstrate His power. No problem is too large. No opposition is too strong. No circumstance is too complex. God's wisdom, His strength, and His sovereignty are greater than every difficulty. The very situation that seems impossible today is the platform for tomorrow's victory. The trial you face is the instrument God uses to cultivate patience, wisdom, and resilience. The setback is a setup for a supernatural comeback. Trust Him, follow Him, walk in faith, and you will see the miraculous unfold before your eyes. I want to remind you that God's protection is unmatched. There is no power, no scheme, no attack that can overcome the hand of God. Those who walk in faith, who act in obedience, who align their hearts with His will, are shielded, guided, and guarded by His divine presence. Fear cannot overtake you. Opposition cannot prevail. Danger cannot defeat you. The God who watches over you is greater than every challenge, and His power surrounding you is impenetrable. Walk boldly, knowing that you are covered, protected, and divinely guided in every step you take. Provision, too, is guaranteed by God for those who trust Him. He is the source of all abundance. He is the supplier of every need. Scarcity does not limit Him. Lack does not restrain Him, and limitation does not define Him. When you walk in obedience, when you sow in faith, when you align your life with His will, provision flows freely and abundantly. Resources come through doors you did not expect. Solutions arrive through avenues you did not imagine, and blessings overflow in ways that surpass your understanding. Trust Him fully, and you will witness the reality of His abundance in your life. This moment is urgent. If this message reaches you before January 6, 2026, it is not by accident. It is a divine appointment, a heavenly signal that your season of breakthrough, favor, and acceleration is upon you. God is calling you to rise, to act, to speak, and to believe. This is your time to move beyond fear, to step into boldness, to embrace expectation, and to walk fully in the power of God. The blessings, the miracles, the divine opportunities that have been prepared for you are ready to manifest. Claim them in faith, act with courage, speak with authority, and watch as God transforms your life in ways that are both miraculous and eternal. Now, as you stand in this moment, hear the voice of God calling you to rise higher than you have ever risen before. This is a moment of awakening, a moment of revelation, a moment where you are invited to examine the depth of your faith, the strength of your resolve, and the courage of your spirit. Look honestly at your life. Where have you allowed fear to dictate your steps? Where have you settled for less than what God intended for you? Where have you postponed obedience, delayed faith, or ignored the whispers of your heart? Today, God challenges you to turn, to renew, and to realign with His divine purpose. Do not shrink back. Do not minimize the calling upon your life. Rise up in faith and step fully into the destiny God has ordained for you. Take a moment to reflect. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every opportunity before you is a gift from God. It is an invitation to live a life of extraordinary purpose, to walk boldly in His guidance, and to demonstrate the power of faith that moves heaven itself. No longer allow doubt, hesitation, or distraction to steal your potential. Recommit yourself to walking in alignment with God. Surrender fully to His wisdom, His timing, and His power. Let your life become a living testament of His greatness, a reflection of His infinite ability to restore, to provide, and to elevate those who trust Him without reservation. I urge you now, examine your heart. Cleanse it of fear, of regret, of disbelief. Fill it with trust, with gratitude, and with expectation. Strengthen your spirit through obedience and prayer. Let every word you speak, every thought you entertain, and every action you take be an instrument of partnership with God. Speak boldly over your life. Declare victory over your challenges. Trust Him to multiply your efforts, to open doors that no one can open, and to bless you in ways that will astonish not only you, but all who witness the movement of His power. This is your calling, and God is waiting for you to respond with courage and faith. Remember this: nothing can withstand the hand of God on a life fully surrendered to Him. Mountains will move, obstacles will fall, paths will open where none seem possible. Your prayers, your declarations, your faith, and your obedience will converge to create a harvest of blessing so abundant it cannot be contained. You have been chosen, you have been prepared, and you have been called to a life of impact, of influence, and of extraordinary fulfillment. God is faithful, and His promises are steadfast. Align with Him now. Walk in His light. Stand firm in His power. And watch as your life transforms into a beacon of hope, a testimony of divine faithfulness, and a living monument to the greatness of God. Rise with boldness, act with unwavering faith, and embrace the fullness of the life God has prepared for you. Do not linger in hesitation. Do not delay in obedience. Take your place in the destiny He has designed and walk forward with confidence, courage, and expectation. The hand of God is upon you. His favor surrounds you. His provision is ready to flow. His power is unmatched, and His glory will manifest through every aspect of your life. Walk in it, believe in it, receive it fully. Let your life be a declaration of His greatness, a reflection of His mercy, and a testimony of His unshakable faithfulness. Stand now in this truth. You are empowered, you are chosen, and you are equipped by God to live a life of victory, abundance, and divine purpose. Let every step you take from this moment forward be guided by His wisdom, fueled by His strength, and illuminated by His light. Let your heart burn with faith. Let your spirit soar with courage. And let your life shine with the unmistakable power of God working in and through you. This is your time. This is your calling. This is your moment to walk fully in the greatness that God has already prepared for you. Embrace it, live it, and let the world witness the extraordinary power of a life surrendered to God.